The alien world of Mur is being devoured by dark water. Only Ren, a young prince, can stop it by finding the 13 treasures of rule. At his side is an unlikely but loyal crew of misfits. At his back, the evil pirate lord Bloth, who will stop at nothing to get the treasures for himself. It's high adventure with the Pirates of Dark Water. Welcome. I say welcome to anyone who probably is not watching this, but if anyone is watching this, at least I hope they will be watching it afterwards. It's when this live stream is over. I say to you, welcome to my first live stream of Let's Talk Cartoons, with the first one being a cult classic. It's called The Pirates of Dark Water, as I said. A cult series from time ago, from the 1991, that actually never got a proper finale. It got 2 seasons, but only 21 episodes, so it could hardly even count as, well, 2 seasons. So let's just say 21 episodes. So if anyone watched my intro scene, how this works is that I will always intro it like that, and then I will talk a little bit about the show and my thoughts on it. First of all, the intro of the start, so to speak, of Pirates of Dark Water. Basically, that intro says it itself. That's basically the entire Pirates of Dark Water theme, so to speak. It's about a world, an alien world. I mean, an unknown world called Mur that has a lot of seas and ships in it. Is being devoured by a demonic sea that is called, what is just said, the Dark Water, that is controlled by a demon of unknown origin called the Dark Dweller. And Ren, a prince from a destroyed kingdom called Octopan, having been isolated at a light tower for a long time, suddenly gets to know that this is his destiny of finding the lost 13 treasures of rule. The only ones, so to speak, that are capable of repelling the Dark Water and the Dark Dweller. For what reasons, not sure. He gets a compass that all the descendants of his father Primus, because he saves an old man at sea that turns out to be his father, and during that moment he gets told by his caretaker his destiny. Ren is a kind-hearted and wise boy, but he's not exactly that much foolish or headstrong, unlike others. Soon, though, he meets the pirate lord Bloth, a base and grotesque-looking pirate that wants the treasures for himself. He's also the reason why Octopan, the place of Ren, is burned to the ground, seeing that he burned Octopan to the ground in order to find the treasures that Ren's father, King Triton's Primus, found. With the help of a monkey bird slave from the ship, Ren flees the ship, and also managed to get a recruit in the way of a greedy but same time strong pirate named Ios. Soon after, not free-spirited, but I want to say cocky young woman called Tula, who later on develops strange powers. They all begin to sail together. At the beginning, this seems like an extremely unlikely crew. However, the crew soon develops into true companions and protectors, where they all try to find the treasures, as well as a Minga melon that is Niddler's favorite food, so to speak. Well, that is basically the stick of the show. This show never got a proper finale. Therefore, Ren never really saw to repel the Dark Water. I think he got only 7 or so. And that was waste. This show had a lot of potential in it. So that's basically the intro of the show. Let's talk about the characters. The main character is Ren, voiced by, get this, none other than George Newbern. Where have you heard that name before? Well, we'll get to the voice actors when we get to the voice actors, okay? Ren is, as I said before, the once prince of the Grand Kingdom Octopon. After hearing about his destiny and getting a broken sword from his father, that is the key to all this. He set sails on a journey in order to free the planet from the Dark Water, he managed to free half of the planet from the Dark Water in his destiny, as well as trying to restore Octopon and his birthright and his destiny. Ren is a courageous and kind boy, but he's also and he cares for people around him. He sometimes do a little headstrong, but he is not foolishly weak in that sentence. He values honor and he values his friends. He's joined by a Niddler, a monkey bird. That is basically just what it is: a monkey and a bird. A monkey's body, bird's wings. A very greedy and constantly hungry monkey bird, who is hungry for their trademark favorite food called Minga melons. However, despite his little greed, he does develop a fondness for Ren and also becomes one of his most trusted allies, especially since Ren saved him from the slavery of Bloth, the main antagonist of the show. But Niddler is mostly used for flying way. Then there is Ayas, who is a rough and tough pirate who originally just joined for treasures. However, thanks to Ren's kindness and his idealism, despite never losing his goal of having treasures, Ayas at the same time still develops a respect for Ren and became like a protective brother figure to him. As he also has a history with Bloth that ended up ugly. The only female on the ship is Tula, who at the beginning is just an adventurous and headstrong young girl that at the beginning was a barmaid, but shows a remarkable agility. She joined the crew only to get away, but it's soon revealed that her character has many secrets, especially with the power of a magic called ecomancing. Ecomancers are people that can connect to the earth and the elements of the biological life, basically sometimes control the weather and even the nature around them. A very useful ability. So she matures from just an adventurous, headstrong lady to actually surprisingly a wise ecomancer, so to speak. Then they are basically the main characters of the show. The villains of the show is Bloth, an obese, pale-skinned, and very feared pirate captain that wants the treasures of rule for himself in order to rule the world. He believes if he has them, he can control the dark water or seal it away. Therefore, not anyone can disturb him. He is joined by his second-in-command, Mantis, a thin and pig-looking, well, not pig-looking, but he has a nose hair like this, who controls most of his Daggeron, very smelly dragon-like creatures, as well as Conk, a very short, fat pirate that is usually called Piglet by everyone else, who is not very smart and is obnoxious beyond words. The other main antagonist in the show is the Dark Dweller, who is basically the living incarnation of the Dark Water. Ghostly, ghastly, well, Dark Water. I'm sorry, I don't really have the words to describe him. Basically, it's the Dark Water made alive, who wants to control the world by devouring everything else, together with his servants. So these are basically the characters of the show. Easy to relate to, and sometimes a little bit easy to like. Again, they don't necessarily develop that much, but it's in the first 3 or 4 episodes and stuff like that, the crew develops true, genuine comradeship around each other. And while Ren never loses his wisdom, he at the same time also learns that there are some moments where you do not need to be headstrong, but also think about it. And while Niddler never loses his greed about having food, he shows a strong liking to his home country of monkey birds, as the monkey birds at the beginning were slaves until Ren helped liberate them. And he shows great loyalty towards his queen as well, or as they call her, the mother of them all. Although, to be fair, what they mean with the mother of them all, I have no idea. I mean, I shrug to think of what that could actually mean. But hey, it is what it is, so to speak. Now then, let's, and as I said before, Ayas develops fondness for Ren, although never losing his greed. And Tula embraces her ecomancing power, even though she at the beginning did not want to. And there are even some hints that there is a, what's that word? Ship-tease between she and Ren, although it never really develops that much. She and Tula have also a pretty interesting dialogue, so to speak. Not ship-tease, more like the fact that Ayas doesn't really believe in the power of women, and Tula is not really so shy in saying that Ayas is a complete and greedy idiot. Now then, the voice cast. Oh man, the voice cast, my friends, is a doozy. A strong doozy. Ren is voiced by George Newbern. Sorry, in one of his earliest roles. Now, do you question yourself, where have you heard the name George? Well, did you see Justice League? Did you buy the Injustice video game? Yeah, he is Superman. After the first guy, George is the most known as the primarily most famous voice of Superman. And trust me, nothing like Superman here. But that's not the only voice he's famous for. He's also famous for being the English dub voice of Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. After they I don't think fired Lance Bass, the original voice, to Sephiroth. Although technically Lance Bass was never called the original voice. Lance Bass voiced Sephiroth in his first voice cameo in Kingdom Hearts 1. However, in Advent Children and 4th, George Newbern was replaced Lance Bass and became Sephiroth. While Lance was replaced, I'm not really 100% sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, I prefer George before Lance Bass any day. However, if I have a guess why he was replaced, it was probably because of that reason, if you know what I mean. Or perhaps they thought that he sounded too lighthearted to be Sephiroth. I mean, George plays him more monotone-like than Lance did. But I think it was that reason why he didn't come back. Niddler is voiced by voice acting legend Frank Welker, who and who hasn't heard of Frank Welker? Anyone who is familiar with voice acting in general, old shows, new shows, and even is a voice acting junkie, knows who Frank Welker is. He is one of the gods of voice acting. A man who is capable of not only voicing multiple characters, but not only the voice of Megatron in the old series, as well as Transformers Prime, the voice of the villain from the Gremlins, and many, many more. He is also known for voicing almost every single animal in any animated show or movie. Even in live action, he can be the vocal effects of animals. The man is a voice acting, and perhaps one of the best ever. Once he passes away from this world, it's going to be a loss. Very big. But this is one of his roles that he talks and does the monkey effects, like stuff like that, to Niddler. Tula is voiced by Judy Benson, And do you know who Judy Benson is? Well, she is not a seasonal voice actress. However, she is most famous, perhaps only famous, for being the voice of Ariel from Disney's Little Mermaid. Yeah, that's her. She has voiced Ariel in almost every single media, or perhaps it's better likely to say she has voiced Ariel in any kind of media, so to speak. Well, it's this is one of her unknown roles, so to speak. Ayaz is the only one who is a bit unsure of, because his voice actor in the original was Hector Alionso Sondo. He's famous for being that library owl in Avatar: The Last Airbender, as well as many other side roles on the other projects. Almost like that villain Malcho from Aladdin, and that Hawk guy from Justice League, the Lieutenant Krager or something like that. The owl was Wan Shin Tong. That was, I think, his name. However, there have been some rumors that in the season 2 or whatever that was, he was replaced by Jim Cummings, also a legend in the voice acting business. One of Disney's most well-known voice actors, as well as the primarily current voice of Winnie the Pooh, including he's even gonna voice Winnie the Pooh in the live-action movie where Christopher Robin is an adult, I've heard. That's gonna be interesting. But Jim Cummings is also a voice acting god. The amount of voices he can pull off. And well, Bloth is voiced by Brock Peters, this now deceased actor. However, I mean, not now deceased actor. He died 2005, but not exactly so very well known in my, world. Although his most famous role was apparently Tom Robinson in To Kill a Mockingbird. While Mantis is voiced by Peter Cullen, the famous voice of Optimus Prime, and many, many more roles. Yeah, the amount of skills he has done is amazing. He was also one of the first, one of the later voices of ER in the Pooh movies, so to speak. But arguably, his most famous role is without any doubt Optimus Prime. Kong is voiced by Tim Curry, also a seasonal voice actor in the business, most famous for voicing villains, although this could be counted as one of his more obnoxious roles, as Tim Curry is noted to voice the more serious and intimidating characters. He was also the first Pennywise the Dancing Clown, until Bill Skarsgård played that role. It's still a little bit surprised that no one could actually guess my clue when they asked where I came from. I said, "Here, take it." You need to watch the trailers, people. But yeah, that's basically the most important characters and the most important voice actors, so to speak. There are others, but they are not exactly that, important, so to speak, because they're not part of the plot. Now then, it's the Pirates of Dark Water's strong points. One of the most things that drew me into this show the most was arguably the fact that the show created its own curse words, so to speak. It's amazing how they actually managed to pull that off. Well, not curse words, but words that they said, like, Noji Tat, Shongolongo, or by Shongo, or what is it that by the 2 moons. What more are there? Not Shongolongo, I already said that. Yeah, I mean, the amount of words they created was actually surprisingly creative. Or maybe weren't that creative, but they, for some reason, just worked. I do not know why, but they worked. That's one of the most things I liked the most about the Pirates of Dark Water. As well as the story of it, it's actually, while not 100% original. Well, that's the wrong word. It is original because this is actually 1991. One Piece wasn't even invented yet, and one can argue that maybe Enshiro Oda saw Pirates of Dark Water and got inspiration from it. Although I highly doubt he did. Still, there are some elements that one could actually argue is very likable in Pirates of Dark Water for those that liked to read One Piece. Because after all, it's a pirate adventure on the sea with a ship. The art style is also very nice. Not exactly clean, but it's not ugly either. It's basically a nice, clean animation from the time it was made. The show's creator was David Kirshner. Not a famous name, although he has produced a lot of different things. He's arguably most famous for apparently being the creator of the Chucky animatronic doll in the Chucky series. Other than that, he has produced random stuff. Maybe even the Addams Family's animated show, or, well, many things more. The amount of things that he had done could have been plenty, but arguably, I say his most famous is Pirates of Dark Water. Otherwise than that, he's not exactly a well-known name in this business. Then what other strong points are there? The adventure and the episodes are memorable. The characters, as I said before, they grow on you, and they quickly become likable. So I would actually recommend it. However, it does have weak points, this show. The strongest weak point is, again, it did not get a proper series final. It just got 21 episodes, and then it just suddenly, said goodbye. Not a single bit resolved. The Dark Water was not completely stopped. No more than that, Bluff wasn't stopped either. Meaning that this was basically as an episode of the week. Some episodes were weak, like one episode, Niddler the King or whatever. That was, for me, a very weak episode. And, sorry, other stuff than that. The first episodes are not exactly that drawn in, because it may feel like there's some cliche moments. But again, people, this was 1991. There was a different feeling to these cartoons, and for those who saw it, so to speak. Now then, let's see here. What other weak points does it have? Well, no. I don't. As much as I said that the animation is not that bad, I can argue, has it aged well? That is not exactly so very well known. Well, it hasn't aged terribly, I would say that. But the most strongest weak point is basically the fact that it never got a proper series final. Now then, my favorite episodes of this show, well, they're few, so it's not exactly well known. Episode 3, The Breakup, is one where at the beginning everyone goes their separate ways except Ren and Niddler, but they liberate the island of Pandawa, which is the home of the monkey birds. It has a strong moral compass in it. The fact that Ren is unselfish and even shows kindness to the queen and get the admiration from the the monkey birds, so to speak. So other episodes I like is number 6, Andoros, where Tula get her awakened ecomancing power, and Ren finds one of the treasures of Rule. Other well-known episodes that I like is Panacea, which is the episode where we meet a greedy and slobby biotransmuter, a man who had taken innocent animals and twisted them into creation of it all. We're meeting a one episode character called Roulette, a guy with a very, very big attitude at first, but then it turns out that he's just hurt. Once again, Ren's kindness saves him from everything else. He has actually a pretty funny monologue, like, "Look, Featherhead, do I need to put up a sign? Don't touch the ball unless you want your beak to glow in the dark." So, and then there's episode 11, the collection, where we're introduced to a wizard and his pet, the think rat, or whatever, rat bat, and the rat bat. Sorry, I forgot his name. No, Ratmore. Yeah, that's the rat's name. Is has a pretty funny dialogue to them, especially since he's the second pet that actually talks. Finally, the Dark Dweller in the episode 13 and the Dark Disciple in episode 14 is also episodes I would like. That introduces the episode 13. The Dark Dweller introduces the Dark Dweller for the first time, and he is voiced by also Frank Welker in a more deep voicing thing. The Dark Disciples is where Ren returns to Pandora and he revives it a little bit. The final episode I think I would like would be the Pandawa Plague, where once again the slaver of the monkey birds returns and have brainwashed them using a special potion. But thanks to Ren and the others, they managed to protect the egg of the future queen and stop the plague. That's basically the ones. That's basically one of the episodes I like. The final episode, The Living Treasure, number 21, is actually not so bad at all, especially with the fact that we're making the last treasure, which is actually a living treasure. So, well, those are my basic thoughts on these shows. Now, what drew me to watching the Pirates of Dark Water? Well, again, I saw this when I was young. I mean, very young. I did not see this when I was 2 years old. I saw this when I was 7 years old, but I saw it in my country of origin. It's and again, the curse words Nojitat and Shongolongo, they drew me in, and it was a nice adventure story. It's a simple show, and it's a cult series, so I like it. Now then, I'm almost finished with this, and only now I get some writers. Well, sorry about that, guys. It's just that I'm not famous, and I do not know how to find a way to spread my words to everyone, so I can get more viewers into this, so to speak. However, I see here that you managed to catch this in the end, Anime X Manga God, and also Goku-san. What are you, a Japanese man? Sorry, what you wrote in Japanese. I cannot say what you said. If you understand English, although bad English. Sorry, Anime X Manga God, if I talk very difficult to say, but this is just how I sound. You asked, what is the Pirates of Dark Water? Well, just watch the entire live stream, and maybe you will get a clear picture. But maybe I won't can't give you a clear answer. Basically, the Pirates of Dark Water is pirates trying to find treasures that will protect them from a dark evil. They're not evil pirates, they're adventurers, but they're calling themselves pirates because that way they travel. There's no real government in the alien world of Mer, that it's called. The only real government were the Octopan, but it was destroyed. So basically there's no order, so to speak. Just some islands over there and there. What drives this show most is the characters and the script. And there I see even you managed to pop in here a little quickly. The Heart 96, you. Well, hi there for you. Now then, but I'm sorry that this is a very short live stream because I was just gonna talk about it. If you guys had got into a little bit quicker, then maybe we'd have a little more interesting talk. But you know what you can do. Once this episode is over, or this live stream is over, feel free to write on my live stream page, so to speak. And I will answer all your writing questions over there. Because this is not the last Let's Talk cartoon. Next time, and I will, let's see here. Yeah, I think I can be a little bit brave and say this. I will do one more, but not today. At least a week. No, on Saturday, what is it? The 13th. I will do another live stream with. I will talk about another. And you asked Anime X Manga God if it was one of the late. This was one of the late 80s and 90s cartoons, like Thundercats and Silverhawks. Well, the only difference I could say is they wore pants, not shorts. I think that's one of the difference. But yeah, it's a cult series, not that famous, but it was. But it had good quality for what it came from. So next Saturday, Central Time. I will try at least to keep this promise. At least I will try. Next week at Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time. It will be 8 p.m. my time. I will do another live stream, and this time I will talk about Where Are You, Scooby-Doo, or Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Another very old series, way older than the Pirates of Dark Water. But we'll talk about that. This is basically how these live streams will work. I will talk about them. I will sing the intro song if I can, and then I will tell you all which is the next cartoon I'm gonna talk about. So without further ado, I'm afraid I have to leave you now because this is once again a short one. If you feel free to comment on the page itself, on the site itself, if you have further question for me. My final review to Pirates of Dark Water, which is my score. Well, I go from, when I rate manga pages, I usually go from 1 to 10. So how will I rate Pirates of Dark Water? Maybe 7 out of 10, or 8 out of 10, maybe. Again, it had potential to become even better, but it did not. Oh yeah, my final thoughts on this show is that I so desperately wish it could get a remake. This is one show that deserves a remake and a complete reinvention. The show of the alien world of Mur and the Cursed Wood created a lot of potential for it. Of course, it's going to be a remake. It's going to be a completely different story, but that's just the point. The Pirates of Dark Water won't suffer that much because it wasn't really that finished. So it needs to be remade so it can be, well, finished, so to speak. Those are my final thoughts on it. Catch me next Saturday, hopefully. If you follow me on Twitter as the Angry Anime Fan, I will write on my page there when I will do that. So please find my Twitter, Angry Anime Fan, if you have a Twitter page yourself. And I will tweet there when I'll do it. And I'll try to do next one at, Saturday, where I'll talk about Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? At least I hope I will talk about that one. I mean, I wrote it up, so I hopefully won't do it. It's also fitting that it's going to be on the 13th of January, since, it's an unlucky number and it's a, Google show. Oh yeah, that's all for me. Peace, people.